right. For this project, I chose Eastman Chemical Company, which is a publicly traded company under the ticker symbol EMN. Eastman is headquartered in Kingsport, Tennessee, and I chose this company because it connects pretty closely to what I'm studying and where I could see myself in the future. I'm studying business management with a minor in material science engineering, and I'm interested in operations management or project management within a material focused company. Eastman stood out as a great choice to me because it combines both my major and minor into a singular package. On one hand, it's a business that has to be very technical with its skill set in material science engineering because it deals with manufacturing chemical processes and material innovation. The main issue I wanted to look at is Eastman's challenge of scaling circular materials and molecular recycling. Not only is it a financial issue, but it also combines operations, sustainability, and their manufacturing issues. But it all relatively connects back to the company's financial performance. So, page 8. So this page gives a good overview of what Eastman actually does. Eastman describes itself as a global specialty materials company that makes products found in everyday items. The annual report they have says that the company has 36 manufacturing facilities and has interests in manufacturing joint ventures across 12 countries, and that its headquarters and largest manufacturing facility are actually located in Kingsport, Tennessee. It also lists Eastman's four main operating segments: their advanced materials, additives and functional products, chemical intermediaries, and their fibers. So basically, what this means is that Eastman makes materials that support a lot of different industries, which include things like specialty plastics, films, coatings, additives, solvents, chemical intermediaries, fibers, and things like that. Those materials are used in areas like transportation, construction, electronics, personal care, and broken down that way. One of the reasons that I found Eastman so interesting to me personally is because it's not a standard chemical company making like one type of product. It's specialty materials made within the company that has a large manufacturing footprint, and it has several different business segments that could be analyzed. And I think for me, it makes it a good company for me to study because it combines the areas I'm learning and studying at UT. But the specific issue I want to focus on is their challenge of making circular materials and molecular recycling work on a large scale. I think this matters for the broader plastics and material industry because companies are facing pressures to reduce their plastic waste and improve recyclability, and create products that fit a better circular economy. This connects directly to Eastman as a company, because their annual report talks about sustainability as part of the company's innovation strategy. I highlighted segments within in this PDF document to like demonstrate like their important aspects. It mentions areas like product durability, recyclability, reducing material usage, and lowering greenhouse gas emissions with molecular recycling, and their mass balance of accounting. So to me, I think Eastman's interesting because they have to figure out a way to make technology reliable and how to get control of enough usable plastic waste, to control their costs, and how to make products that their customers actually want to buy. And then this is where my major comes in because the focus of management and operations being tied to my minor of material science engineering basically flourishes together. For sources, I think Eastman's annual report, this document is like one of the most useful sources because it gives official and public information about the company's business, their strategy risks, and financial direction. Since Eastman is publicly traded, their annual report is a strong source because it's written for investors and connects to the company's plans for financial performance. Other sources I looked at were the OECD Global Plastics Outlook. I liked using that because it gave a broader view of the plastic problem and not Eastman's own view. The OECD reports that global plastic production doubled from 234 million to 460 million tons back in 2019, so that the plastic waste is only increasing more and more over time. But it only reported that 9% of the plastic waste was ultimately recycled after accounting for all the recycling losses. So I think Eastman is a great example of why their objective is so strong and important, and like another reason why I could see myself working here. It shows that like the Eastman's responding to the real industry-wide problems where traditional recycling has not solved the plastic waste problem by itself, which is why companies are looking for new approaches to molecular recycling. For this page, I found it useful because Eastman shows, excuse me, it shows how Eastman connects circular recycling to their financial performance. In this second section, Eastman says that its circular performance had a milestone year in 2025. The report says the facility produced volumes greater than 2.5 million times the 2024 qualities with high yields and contributed to about 60 million earnings in 2024. Eastman also says that it found out a way to debottleneck the plant's original capacity by 30%, which gave the company more time for capital efficient approaches. And then it helped to source its second plant. I think this is probably one of the strongest points for why this issue matters financially for the company, as their molecular recycling topic is not something Eastman talks about just to save their image or to, I would say, like exemplify their sustainability branding. It's showing up as like production volume, earnings, capacity, and capital planning. If Eastman can keep improving and scaling their technology like this, it can become a real growth opportunity for them. I think it can help the companies serve customers who want a more sustainable material practice and separate themselves from the competitors. But in that same token, they also have risks. If the process is too expensive and hard to scale or does not produce consistent results, then it could hurt their margins or make the investments less attractive for their investors. The page also talks about Eastman's 2026 outlook, like their future aspects. The company says that it's planning around cash, cost discipline, and selective growth investments. It also says that it expects about 400 million in capital expenditures for 2026 and wants to focus their investments that clearly create value for their customers and the shareholders. I think this really matters because it requires capital on their part, and Eastman has to decide how much money they want to put into these projects. And then for this section, they talk about meaningful volume growth. It says that they estimate the largest driver of innovation comes from its circular platform, where it expects the facility to drive 4 to 5% volume plus their mixed growth in 2026 to about 30 million of incremental earnings. I think this makes it worth studying as a company because if the circular materials work well, they can help Eastman grow sales volume, improve their earnings, and build stronger relationships with customers who are looking for recycled content and lower impact materials. I think based on my research, there are a few causes behind the issue. Traditional recycling does not work well for every kind of plastic, especially plastics that are hard to recycle. Second, the industry needs a better system for collecting, sorting, supplying usable plastic waste. And third, the circular materials still have to compete with traditional materials on cost, quality, and reliability. So even if the technology they produce works, it still has to make sense from a business standpoint. And I think the biggest explanation is not only like a technology problem, but it's more like a full system scale problem with handling recycling. Eastman needs the molecular recycling technology to work, but it also needs a reliable fuel stock for efficient operation, customer demand, and financial returns to justify their investments. And I think this is why this company in particular fits to me and to the assignment, because it's a non-financial issue related to sustainability, operations, and manufacturing, as well as technology. But it also clearly impacts the firm through their financial capital spending, operation costs, and customer demand. So essentially, I chose this company because it connects to me and what the assignment's kind of asking for. The major issue I would like to focus on is how Eastman is trying to scale their circular materials and molecular recycling because I think it's important and it shows how the company can turn an industry-wide sustainability problem into their business opportunity. But it can only work if the process is practical, reliable, and financially stable for them. So that's why I chose this company, and those are the things that I would like to talk on.